And we're fucking live. God damn it. We made it. We're back. All right. Fuck my internet company and fuck you, Google. We're back live. All right. Go ahead and continue, guys.
Yes.
Should we continue with Tommy Robinson, or do we want to move on to to grander things?
Sorry, yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk about
the D notice. I mean, the freedom of speech. Yeah.
So
it used to be called D notice. I forgot they renamed it. They keep renaming these things, so you can't keep track of them.
Okay, so basically, your court has the right to tell the press, "Don't print this, or we'll go after you."
Yes.
Yep. In fact, as far as I'm aware, they don't even have to. They can just phone them up and say, "We are issuing a D notice." As long as they get the, the head of the Justice Department or whatever. I mean, they just phone him up and say, "We want a D notice." He says, "Okay, you got a D notice." And then someone just notifies all of the editors of the newspapers and said, say that there's a D notice. They probably fax them a copy or something, I suppose.
Okay, who has to approve? Who has to approve that?
I think that's the chief. Oh, God, what the hell's his official title?
Chief Censor?
Yeah, I was about to say, is this?
Yeah, Lord High Executioner.
Jesus.
I don't know. It's some Ponzi.
Gauleiter from Ministry of Propaganda. Is that what we're dealing with now?
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, but it's somewhat in the judicial. I mean, it's like it'll be one of the head judges in the High Court, what you'd call Supreme Court. So, well, who's the head of the Supreme Court in America? What's the sort of title you have for the person who's running it?
Well, you have the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and all the other under
Chief
that
Justice
are the Associate Justices.
I think it's actually the same name. I think it's the Chief Justice. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be, but like I said, now it doesn't really matter. They just phone up and say, "Well, we are issuing a D notice." They don't make a request for a D notice. They just notify that one is being issued. The government is issuing a D notice. Then it's up to the courts to then notify, I think, the relevant parties to say, "Print this and you're in deep shit."
So basically, the court doesn't even decide whether or not it's warranted. They're just a distribution center for it.
Effectively, yeah. As far as I'm aware, they don't have to explain as to why they want this D notice. I could be very wrong, but I don't believe so. Because they always say that a D notice has been issued, by the government. So the government's issuing it, and the government is the legal body. So, yeah, I don't think that they just say we want one, like fucking children. I want another sweetie.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You're right. We don't understand that because if they had that capability, there would never have been a Snowden.
Yeah. I will never fucking understand that. I mean, listen, right? I can understand if you're issuing a D notice for, case that might contain sensitive, like, government information. If someone leaked something or, it was accidentally released or what have you. But I mean, this doesn't involve anything sensitive. It's just they don't want people to know that there are massive rape gangs on the loose.
Exactly. I mean, there was a few, going back a number of years, there was I think it was called Spy Catcher or something. There was a book anyway, and it was by an ex-MI6 operative, and it had quite a few, rather concerning exposés, whistleblowing on quite a few things. Now there was a D notice and a complete ban on publication of the book within this country.
What?
So. But you could buy it in Canada and Australia and New Zealand and America. You could buy it anywhere else, but you just couldn't buy it here. So it was published in different countries. But it's never been published here.
So you're saying you ban books?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. Look it up. I think it was called Spy Catcher. It was a very famous case. And this is, again, where, they were utilizing this D-notice capacity. But that was, I mean, potentially maybe there was some... I've never read it, but, maybe there were some... potentially
damaging things in it. Yeah, I can understand that.
But,
I can understand them wanting to do it. But, I can understand a government wanting to keep certain things secret. All right, but to be able to tell a publisher, I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Yep.
I mean, in the United States, the best the president can actually do is to request someone not publish something.
Yeah,
you know, they can call up like the New York Times or Washington Post and say, "We know you have this story. Could you please not publish it?" And there have been times when they haven't.
Well, that's the way the government likes to pretend that the D-notice works. It's a request. It's not a demand, but in actual fact, it is. It's on pain of court, you know, of being sued, or, you know, so it's a request in name only.
Mm-hmm.
It's a request at the point of a gun.
Yeah, basically. And they've used it for royal stories, and like I said, originally it was intended to be only for extreme situations, but now they're just, it's like something, they got fucking, you know, it's like the guy just got a pad of them, you know, like Post-its.
You said they used it to cover up stories about the royals?
Yeah, apparently.
I can wonder what kind of bad stories are really out there now.
Dude, I know, I can just imagine the Queenie slipping up and calling some black guy the help. And, you know, next thing you know, they're having to put D-notices out.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it would be Prince Philip, yeah, calling someone a nignog or something.
Oh my fuck, dude.
Well, how long do you think until this censorship, which is essentially what that is, actually comes across the pond to my neck of the woods?
The moment they get rid of your First Amendment, mate, and we all know they're trying to hack that down bit by bit.
Yeah, the problem that they have getting rid of the First Amendment is the Second Amendment. So they have to get rid of the Second Amendment first, which is why there's so much focus on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? I don't even think they have to get rid of the First Amendment. I mean, they'll just say, yes, freedoms of speech. You can have all of the freedoms of the speeches. But if it... But the first thing is, but if it causes violence, and then the second thing
the
from
threat
that is
of violence,
or the threat of violence, and then after that, you know, it's, you know, like you're saying, the creep of tyranny. It's slowly but fucking surely.
Yeah, the problem with that though is the application, because the people who are violent in the United States almost inevitably begin on the left.
Yeah.
We haven't had a real streak of violent right that has any kind of power behind it. Yeah, there's been some from knuckleheads that have been, you know, the neo-Nazis and stuff. They do exist here, all right, but their power and their reach and their scope has always been very limited, especially in comparison to the left. And part of the reason for that is because the press has done so much promotion of the left, all right, that's one of the reasons why it has such a wider reach. It's because it's constantly promoted as a good, grand, glorious thing in the mainstream media. Right, you don't have the mainstream media. You have no right-wing mainstream media in the United States. You just don't. And what I'm talking about is something akin to CNN. All right, for the Democrats, you've got Fox News, which is more conservative than the other ones, but you can't say that it's a Republican mouthpiece in any way, in any stretch of really. In comparison, in a comparative type of environment.
Oh yeah, and also, of course, I mean, even if it was, there's only one of them, and there's what? How many others? I mean, ABC, MSNBC. I mean, all the fucking alphabetic spaghetti groups. I mean, so it's like 100-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hardly even that. I mean, it was the left that supported the Iran deal. Justin Trudeau went on about how Castro was the longest-serving president of Cuba. You know, they go on about all this stuff all the time. They even find themselves supporting Kim Jong-un's sister. Yeah. You know, they constantly find themselves in the midst of tyranny. So, I mean, why would they not just disregard anyone who just so happens to be out protesting, quote-unquote, against Trump, but in reality, they're torching garbage cans and busting windows?
Oh, I mean, come on.
They'll just look the other way. They'll apply it to D and not to
well,
B.
but you can't do that with the justice system. All right, see that's where it all falls apart. If you attempted to do that on a large scale within the justice system, you will see mass riots in the streets. All right, and they'll lose their core morality from a U.S. perspective. That's why they won't do it, because the courts can't justify it then. All right, you
Exactly.
can't justify looking the other way within the United States. Now,
but
Great
that's
Britain's
where
different.
That's where this law is extremely, because that's why it's so dangerous. Because now people don't even know what they're not being told about. I mean, obviously, it will eventually get back if people know other people and they're not in a bubble or whatever. But generally speaking, it's a very effective way of at least slowing down that, the availability of information to as few people as possible. And by the way, I put that, in case you thought I was joking about that book, I put the link in the side chat and in the Discord.
Oh yeah,
So you can check that out. So I wasn't making it up.
I didn't think you were making it up.
And it's still banned in this country. It's not allowed to be published here or distributed even.
Former assistant director of MI5. Oh my. I want to get my hands on this. Shit.
He knew where the skeletons were.
Oh yeah.
Well, is MI5 your counter intel?
MI5 is the equivalent of, say, your FBI. MI6 is the equivalent of CIA. GCHQ is the equivalent of your NSA. Each one of them built your groups. We did the initial training post World War II.
God.
So this shit will be coming to you if you let it. Only a matter of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time.
That's awful dangerous. Hey, boys.
It is. Hey. Yeah, it is. It's extremely dangerous, and I mean, I think that is, if you want to, anyone who claims that we have freedom of speech in this country just needs to read up on what a D notice is, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
I'd
never heard of it. I didn't know that anything like that existed.
Well, you're probably not allowed to tell you. I'm probably not meant to know about it.
I can't say that that's not a possibility because it obviously is. I mean, but that's scary, man. That is really, truly frightening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. That's what tyranny looks like on paper.
Well, how come you guys haven't been, writing about this earlier?
Again, because most people have no idea what they are or when they're being used, because nobody's allowed to tell you when one's being used. It's rather like, the Pfizer court thing. So your neighbor could see the FBI going into your house and searching it and things, but they get issued with one of those, whatever it is that they issue, and so you can't even mention that we've been here, right? I mean, you do have something of an equivalent over there.
Not like that, no.
No, I mean, the difference is that that one has to be based on a warrant, and there should be
a warrant is just a search.
Search and seizure.
Right. A warrant is a search and seizure notice, all right? But as far as notification to stop somebody from saying something, there's nothing that does that unless you're in a special status where
that's the thing.
They can crack down on you for that.
But it's based on some of the the Patriot laws that you introduced. The post 9/11, and it was I think it's Homeland. It's done by the Homeland Security, and I mean they seem to have all the power these days. I remember hearing about it. I'll see if I can remember what it is. I'll drag my brain. It's got to be in there somewhere. But there certainly have been circumstances where people against the law have come out and said, they told me that I wasn't allowed to tell anyone anything, and that.
You have to have already been in a court where they there are things like gag orders, all right, but they're not. There's something that they have to be totally adjudicated. The court has to issue the gag order for from a court's perspective. For example, you could agree to a gag order, which is, for example, the whole Stormy Daniels thing going on right now. Basically, they said, well, if you keep quiet about this, we'll pay you this amount and we'll settle this out of court. All right. So for that is considered a gag order as an agreement between the two parties. All right. Now, that obviously doesn't apply to this because this isn't a party agreement. This is a blanket. You can't tell anybody what you've seen.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, they can issue certain gag orders in that regard, but I mean, they have to be very specific, and they have to come from the court. They can't just be decided,
Oh yes,
on the fly.
As I said, yeah, this is a FISA court warrant, whatever you want to call it, but it has additional powers associated with it.
I'd have to see that.
I've heard about it. I wish I could remember. I'll find something for you. I will. You know I do.
Okay. Yeah, but when it comes to NDAs and or gag orders in the United States, that's not on the reporters. You can stand outside the fucking courthouse and report all you want, right? You can't put a gag order on the press.
Well, like you said,
which is what we're talking about in Great Britain.
No, you can. I mean, like I said, technically it's illegal to possess a copy of Spycatcher in this country.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, if something's classified and you have access to classified equipment, they could arrest you for distribution of classified, things like that. But
yes,
it's very limited.
But if you just went,
how it does.
If you went to say Australia and bought a copy of it while you're on holiday and brought it back with you, in your holdall, in your carry-on luggage, and then they find it as you go through customs, then you could technically be arrested for possession of that book. I mean, that's how that is. That's how nuts.
Yo, you know what you should do? You should mail a copy to Corbin.
Yes. Oh, where's memes when you need him? Yeah, they keep going on about 1984. You need to send every single one of them a copy of that. And then they all have to be arrested for being in possession of
memes would definitely have to make sure that he never has any idea or any plans to ever visit Great Britain ever in his life.
It'll be good.
Here's a question though. All right, so Tommy Robinson's already in jail. Can you send him the Spycatcher book? Can he read it? I mean, he's already a political prisoner. What's the harm?
More jail time. They would just add on more jail time for him. It sounds kind of funny, but when you start taking a look at the examples of this, it's not very funny. They literally could just, oh great, now we got him on a real charge. We'll throw him in the hole for the next 60 years.
Exactly. Oh yeah, you don't want to add. You don't put out a fire with petrol.
Let's be honest, guys. Tommy's fucked. The moment they put him into the jail, he has literally got a target on his back. I'll be surprised if he's still alive by the end of the week.
Well, yeah, but this is what we're saying. That if that happens, it could be the real flashpoint that starts causing, quite significant disturbances around the country. I mean, that really would resonate around the country pretty significantly. So it'd be a very foolish thing to put him out into the public, into the public areas. He definitely needs to be in isolation. If they really are willing to do that, then you will see people really on the streets, not just having a nice happy day at the freedom of speech, rally. I mean, the mood will change significantly. Put it that way.
Well, the gloves will be off because they'll say that there's blood. All right, and they'll say blood for blood, and it will balloon from there.
Yep, you made the first cut, we'll make the last.
Well, exactly. What other choice did you leave us? All right, it's armed insurrection to begin with because of where you did this. Now, how fast it gets out of control is still obviously, that has yet to be determined. I mean, obviously we're counting chickens before they're hatched, thankfully.
But
right?
MC, how do you think? Because I said this early on. How do you think? I mean, doesn't this really also play directly into the hands of government or into the establishment? Because it provides them with the justification then to gather more powers in order to suppress an uprising or whatever.
Under certain circumstances, yes. All right, but your populace has to believe it's under threat, and therefore these things are justified. If your population doesn't believe that these are justified, then I don't see it going down that road.
You might want to change the word population to government there.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean
No,
because the people.
Come back, boys.
The reason I said that is because whether the government wants to do it or not, the people still have the power to rise up. All right, and they whether you guys still have the ability to vote.
Oh yeah.
All right. Once that's taken away, then it's over. But at the moment, you still have the ability to vote. One of the problems is with if you vote in people who take away your rights, in with the the old saw of this is for your own security. That's why we're doing this, right? And people cheer it as their rights are being stripped from them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know if you're at that point yet. I mean, your general populace would have to vote that in. Now, once they vote it in and they vote themselves, to become harmless and basically open to attack, well, then all bets are off. But at this point, you still have an opportunity to turn it around in a peaceful manner. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
That's unfortunately that's diminishing though.
If the government, but like I said, if the government really thinks that it can control people in the way that it thinks it can, then they might just say, well, fuck the people. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Well, they can try.
I mean, we become irrelevant now as a population. I mean,
that's a possibility. But are you even close to that stage where people have given up their rights to that point? Because you got to if people resist, I mean, you're not going to be able to control it if people resist, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the government would, but then it's really because you know what it's like. I mean, we do still obviously outnumber them, and it's right. One of those things. You just have to motivate enough people into action. Right. But yes, I mean, obviously, distinctly, it's still feasible, and the government can only bludgeon so many of its own people before, everyone. Yeah, well, everyone stands up. It's like that, Tiananmen Square moment. That only took one dude. That was very impressive.
Well,
but it was a very public thing.
And what did it really? But in the end, did it achieve anything though? I mean, I hate to say it, but it achieved more in Western public than it did actually in China.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but maybe. But you need those sort of people and, those sort of messages, those reminders, every now and then just to, to know what's worth fighting for and for what you stand. So, I mean, they stand as a form, as a reference point, don't they?
Well, they stand as a bulwark on tyranny. That's for sure. And the question, at this point in time, you still have a lot of bulwarks against that kind of tyranny. Now, you're going to have to start resisting it more vociferously than obviously has been happening in the past. But
yeah, I went on that 1 Million Man March, and it was like a fucking calypso party. I mean, hard to take it seriously.
Real quick. Unfortunately, straight Sith male. He was dragged in within an hour of being arrested. Tommy was dragged before the magistrate or a judge. I'm not sure which. And immediately sentenced to 13 months. He is gone for 13 months. So, yeah.
Well, according to Cabbage, he's serving out the rest of his term.
Yes. The sentence that he'd been, he was released early on, what you would call parole, and now he's technically breached his parole or his suspended sentence. So he has been returned to complete the rest of his sentence that he'd already got, which is why he didn't have to actually go through a court process. He didn't need a jury or anything like that. Just the police said, we've arrested him. Judge said, okay, that seems fair. Yep, that's it. Take him down. Put him in prison.
What was his original charge, Cabbage?
I think it was disturbing the peace or something. I mean, it's really fucking pathetic. It's like if he'd have. To be honest, if he'd have dropped, say, a chewing gum wrapper or something, they would have probably got him for that, for littering or something. I mean, it's like that level of pettiness.
Basically, he was targeted.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Well, yeah. What about the other Rebel media reporters that were there on the scene as well? They weren't arrested, were they? Were they at least fined? I mean,
but that's the thing. You see, Tommy is the one who's who's violating his sentence.
Well, but if he's committed a crime, don't they have to charge the other people with the crime if they're doing the same thing?
No, because they'll just say, well, but he was the one talking, and so therefore he might be the one who's inciting the, so that they're just recording. You see, they're kind of effectively bystanders in that situation. It's very fucked up. I know. I mean, I'm trying to explain insanity. I don't know how you do it. It's a tough call.
Well, keep trying. You might find a way.
Well, and
I hope I never do.
Sith brought up another point in the chat. Here in America, there are cliques in prison. All right, if you're white, well, you automatically segregate with the white group. If you're black, if you're Mexican, etc., etc. Is the prison culture the same over there? Does Tommy at least have some fucking backup? Is what we're trying to ask.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is to a degree, but one of the big problems he has is that they're especially Leeds and, well, a lot of the northern prisons, that's where they tend to put the Muslim inmates. And a lot of people get converted to Islam. I mean, the prisons are effectively now like mosques. They are radicalization units. And it's been exposed in multiple times that this is actually happening in the prisons. So you're getting a lot of people who are being converted to Islam in the prisons themselves. So he's going into effectively the hornet's nest.
Oh my God.
He really is. Yeah.
I swear to God, dude.
Yeah. Make no bones about it. That man's life that is really seriously, if he's put out into the public areas, if he's not in isolation, someone will shiv him. I mean, he damn near got killed last time. He had all of his teeth kicked out. Yeah. And he was close to death, I mean, he was in hospital for a long time and he had to have reconstructive surgery. So, I mean, that's what's already happened. And he's not made any more friends since then in that particular community.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. It's a shame.
That'd be like me getting arrested and dragged to some fucking communist prison. That'll go real well.
Yeah. It's
well, no, I
you're
think
half
a
commie
communist...
anyway. We already know that.
Oh,
You're the bomb throwing anarchist. They just got to convert you into throwing the bombs in the correct direction in their mind.
well, I may or may not have insinuated that the British people should rise up and overthrow the yokes of tyranny.
Got to stop. He's got to stop drinking the Molotov cocktails first. You're not meant to put a cherry in it. That's all I'm saying. Olives not required.
Bloody hell.
I don't think you're helping the situation there, Cabbage. I could be wrong.
I rarely do.
If I may ask, as I wasn't here for the first part of this, I'm assuming you slagged off Sargon already, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, you fucking know it.
What happened with Sargon? See, I apologize for being out of the loop. I've been way out of the loop with a lot of things being on the road. So I apologize.
No, it's fine. Well, apparently he grew a vagina.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently he released a video saying, "Oh well, I'm not gonna go out and march for Tommy because my family."
No, I'm not.
I'm scared of them.
I'm not even. No. I'm not going to talk about Tommy. Not even go out and protest or anything. Just not going to talk about it.
Fucking
He's not going to talk about Tommy because of why?
Because his family might get targeted. What about
or something?
Family?
He doesn't explain exactly why. Just family. Just cause family. That's it.
Okay. And yet you think you're going to be the leader of the liberalist movement?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you basically told everybody, "Look, I'm a cuck and a coward, so therefore, follow me." Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll be following you to the depths of hell.
Well, like I said, other people, if you haven't seen it, just check it out.
His point of view,
first minute. It's the first minute of his last video. It's about the Muslimizing of prisons. It's about the prison culture. which is actually, I mean, the content of the video that he puts out is actually okay. I mean, that's correct stuff. But he won't. The idea that he says that he's not going to talk about Tommy because of family. He didn't qualify why it was his family. Like, well, I can't talk about it because a D notice might, affect me, so I'll lose all of my income, and I can't do that to my family. That would have at least made some sense. But just cause family, that, if he thinks a D notice would affect him, then I can understand why. He would like, well, I've got to toe the line on this, but he could still go down and speak out and things like that on behalf of what's happened to Tom. But he wouldn't be allowed to report on it, So, I mean, I don't know how far he's taking it, or it just made a really, really bad attempt at explaining why he's not going to talk about one of the most important fucking news stories that has happened this year.
Well, if you're going to be truly committed to freedom of speech, all right, and exactly. I understand his fear of protecting his family and wanting to protect a family. That's understandable. But guess what? If you don't protect your family, if you don't protect freedom of speech, how protected is your family really going to be?
Well, that's exactly the comment I put in on that video. I said, it's spineless, and I put that, that poem about when they came for the Unionists, I wasn't a Unionist, so I said nothing. When they came for the Jews, I wasn't a Jew, so I said nothing. Then they came for the Catholics, and I did nothing, and then they came for me, and there was no one to call out to. And so that's exactly the situation that he,
Well, when they came for the Unionists, I was cheering because I wanted them gone. I'm sorry. I had to throw that in there.
No, that's a fucking excellent point, though, because I mean, I used to watch his videos a lot more than I do now. But back when I gave a shit about his videos, he used to go on about like, oh, I want a better world for my wife's son or something like that. And and now it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? No, like I want to slam my fucking head against the wall. Like,
well, yeah, I just want a better explanation than my family.
If you want to, all right. When leadership's thrust on you, I can see people going, look, I'm not the leader of this movement. All right. That people become leaders sometimes, even though they don't want to. They have it thrust on them. And in those cases, I can understand somebody especially going, look, this is not what I was going for.
I didn't sign up for this.
I'm saying things. I understand you guys want to follow me, but this is not what I want.
I am not the Messiah.
Yes, you are. But you're supposed to be here today. Sorry, Clerk's joke.
But when you go out of your way, all right, and say I want to lead a liberalist movement, I want to create a movement to make things better, then you're saying I want to be a leader. Well, if you want to be a leader, you've got to take the slings and arrows of being a leader at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I couldn't agree with you more. And that's exactly the reason that I think it was spineless. I think it was an absolutely spineless act. Because if he wants to be this, the voice of reason and the things that he presents himself to be, then he can't pick and choose where the battle lines are. The battle lines, as you said before, the battle lines are drawn, and then you fight according to those battle lines.
Right.
And he's not doing that. He's basically. He's doing a Neville Chamberlain, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? He is no Winston Churchill. He's Neville Chamberlain.
No, he's not. He's not Winston Churchill.
Well, absolutely. And I was looking at the chat, and Captain Colepile said in all caps, what about Tommy's family? Yeah, what about Tommy's family? Sargon?
Well,
how about you put yourself on the line a little bit?
In my comment. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can read my comment to him on that video. But I'm very, very disappointed. I mean, I'm not a Sargonite or anything by any stretch of the imagination. I liked his stuff, but he's gone way down in my estimation now. Very much.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like, he was going downhill, but to be honest, this is... I don't know, this is... well, the vein on my forehead is showing. This is a little fucking
It's something to seek leadership, all right? And if you're going to be a leader, being a leader means you've got to take the good with the bad, or the bad with the good, however you want to look at it in this case. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the responsibility of a leader. You know this as well as I do, Cabbage. The being a leader means you have more restrictions on you than the people who are following you.
Yes, but a lot more responsibilities too.
Exactly. All right, and you've got to step up. And there are times when you've got to step up. There are times when you have to lead from a front. There's a reason why the most dangerous occupation on a battlefield happens to be, a platoon leader or the lieutenant. Yeah. There's a reason why they die.
But it's called But it's called leadership for a reason, because you are meant to lead.
Yes.
You know, it is not followership. I mean, that's not a positive thing.
The great followers in history are not written down anywhere that I know of yet.
That's right. Alexander the Great's great follower.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say that, but I'm writing a book right now. Yes, Leon Trotsky's lesser-known cousin. Yeah.
Oh, chapter 1.
Bob.
So
some people call him Bob because there is always a Bob.
Oh, Bob! The story of Bob, the life and times of Bob.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got a title, 40.
Oh yeah, the life and times of Hitler's retarded cousin Bob, the true architect of Auschwitz.
Well, yes, hey, I tell you what, you could do it like The Life of Brian, which is a piss take, like I'm not the Messiah, right? And just a guy who's just normal, right? And it could be like a Hitler equivalent of that. So instead of it being a Messiah, it's like the anti-Hitler, the inconvenient murderer, I suppose. But you know what I mean.
The inconvenient murderer.
I didn't gas the Jews. I just lit the fires.
Yes, I'm just following
orders. The story of the guy, the propane man in charge of the lighting the furnaces, right?
Yeah. I didn't know what I was lighting.
Yeah. I thought it was just a boiler system is all. Oh, Jesus. Little did he know it was gas heating. Oh, my. Okay. No, we need to move on. All right.
Yeah. I just thought it was bacon.
Okay, well, here's an interesting tweet 22 minutes ago from Styx. The British should be angry at their sellout royals, their inept government, their corrupt police, their lame, impotent so-called leaders. Instead, a lot seem to be mad at internet personas or at other British people trying to wake them up to the fact that they live in hell.
Yeah, fucking A.
Yeah, I was going to say, that seems about accurate.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
So, Jensen, you weren't here earlier. Any other thoughts on the Tommy Robinson thing, or should we move on to 40's stories that he has picked out for today?
The only thing I can say with the Tommy Robinson thing is that the media is going to try and cover this up and make you forget about it. Do not forget Tommy Robinson. That is the only thing I can say to this. Do not let them make you forget him.
Oh, no. Well, this is the problem. You see, this is the point of the D notice. They can't report on him. So they don't need to do a cover-up. They've already been obliged.
So it's our job to make sure people know that people hear this shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. That's why I'm trying to let people know about the kind of things that we have, like the D notices and the abuses of power and stuff. I mean, hell, I love my country and I wouldn't move to America, but I mean, I don't want America to go the way that we have. I'd rather turn my own country round than run away to another country, like Cog. Cog, he doesn't want to fix this country. He wants to leave it and become an American. Which, good luck to him if that happens and it works out for him. But no, I'd rather fix this place because I happen to like it, or I did, and I don't anymore, and I want to like it again.
Yeah, I used to like it, but now I don't.
Yes, but I want to like it again. I want to do my bit so I can like it again. Yes, and then, well, I'm an old-fashioned pragmatic. I was brought up in a rather old-fashioned way. I went to an old-fashioned school.
Got beated the old-fashioned way.
Yes, I got beaten in a non-sexual way.
I could buy a bigger boy.
Yeah. Keep telling yourself that, Cabbage.
6 of the best. So I don't know whether the guy was fapping afterwards, but he wasn't while he was doing the whipping. Whip fat, whip fat, whip fat, whip fat.
Oh yeah, just came in all dressed in leather, did he? Well,
yeah. Well, I was concerned about the gimp mask, but you know, you're not allowed to ask questions. The ball gag. That was a giveaway.
Stop the wounds, right?
Sorry?
At least he smoothed that nice cream on your back to get rid of the wounds.
That's right. Yeah, I must admit, he did spend an inordinate amount of time on that.
all right, this is getting a little gay. Should we move on?
Yes. So, I mean, have we expunged the current topic of Tommy, or I mean, what's next? Because you had a whole bunch of things that you wanted to go over, didn't you, 40?
I had a few.
I mean, I think it's great that we're talking about Tommy. I mean, the more the merrier, really, as far as I'm concerned, because the more people who hear about it, the better. But I'm not sure. I think everyone here is now pretty tired in the chat. I'm not sure there's any more information we can really give on it.
Not yet.
Well, I suppose I could lighten the mood a little bit. Man punches deaf pregnant woman and service dog on a flight to Orlando.
Yes.
Yep. Right in the mood. Brilliant.
Yeah, here we go. A man punched a pregnant deaf woman and her service dog on the flight from Colorado Springs to Orlando shortly after the plane landed. Matthew Silve, I believe is how you say that, and his wife Hazel Ramirez, a deaf couple, were traveling with their 2 kids and service dog on Frontier Airlines Flight 1752 to Orlando. When the plane landed, passenger Timothy Manley, very, very manly, punched Ramirez and her service dog. Where was the part that... Oh, here we are. Ramirez, who is 20 weeks pregnant, began yelling at Manley, who at some point allegedly punched Hazel in the stomach. And then, of course, the flight attendants had to call the police, and they promptly escorted him out.
I thought you had sky marshals these days, you know, because of the post 9/11 thing.
No, we do have sky marshals.
Yeah, so
But they have they have limited authority.
So they can't stop women getting punched in their pregnant belly.
Well, also, they're not on every flight. You never know when they're going to be on a flight. So.
Oh, I see. Okay. I thought there was one on every plane these days.
Well, there's. I don't.
But hang on. Well, did he even say why he punched? I mean, I've not heard of reason for the punching.
Excuse me, Abbott, but what difference does it make why he punched her?
Well, I don't know. There could be validation. There could be justification. She might be a total bitch.
Yeah, she might have fucking just had it coming.
Yeah. Oh, no, she might have pulled a blade on him. You don't know.
Yes, the pregnant woman pulls the blade out. We have to punish both of them.
I somehow, I guess maybe I'm just missing something about why he felt the need to punch a pregnant woman.
That's what I mean. What was the why did he do it?
Unfortunately, the article does not elaborate. It just says the pregnant woman, who's 20 weeks pregnant, just began yelling at Manley. So either it's that time of month, or Manley did something here.
Can't be that time of the month. She's pregnant.
Okay, but does he have to punch her?
That's what she was saying.
Maybe the fetus was talking shit.
I was just saying, and in the belly too. Like, holy shit.
Never know.
Yeah.
That baby could have said some serious shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it was a thought crime.
Yeah.
What did you say? He was a Tony Robinson supporter? Is that what it was?
That's right. Fetal thought crimes now.
Yeah.
Give them a good beating before they get out. Get them used to it. Toughen them up. Toughen them up for the world. Get them ready.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Just odd that they don't say why, part of just some screaming heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Let me actually. I do want to actually look this up. I really do actually want to find this now because it does actually bother me now that you brought it up. Why it doesn't?
Could have been
that.
with those little bags of peanuts. Maybe one of them didn't get their peanuts. Or she stole his peanuts, or he stole her peanuts. It's got to be about peanuts. It's the last thing you get free these days from an airline.
If you get that.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Not an easy
After my latest little experience with the airlines,
It wasn't
Oh my god!
What
are you laughing at, Corey?
Oh, okay. So the way the last article described it was just poor awful fucking writing. Okay, so as the plane descended, a 59-year-old man's wife complained of being allergic to dogs. When the plane landed and taxied to the gate, the dog woke up and stood up. Timothy Manley then punched the dog with a closed fist in the face, causing it to yelp, the report said. The couple then began yelling at the man, who the police said reacted by getting in the man's face. And at some point, the man punched the pregnant woman in the stomach.
Oh, wait, the police were there?
What, a 15,000
Were the police hiding behind the pregnant woman? Get him, girl! I mean, what the hell?
Well, it did land in Florida. We all know how the Florida police are.
Oh, Christ.
He's got a fist! He's got a fist! Did it hurt? What the heck, man?
Oh my fucking god, this story is so fucking ridiculous.
You see, 40, you've always got to look for the devil in the detail, because that's also where the fun is.
That's just fucking okay. I'm allergic to this dog. I'm just gonna punch it. My fucking sides. Oh my god.
I mean, we know we should not be laughing at this, but oh my god, really?
Dude,
Man,
come on, it is funny.
Details at 10.
Oh, that fucking poor dog, dude.
Well, I still gotta go back to. I still gotta go back to. How does the woman get hit if the police are there?
I mean, it just says the report said. So I mean, they must have showed up like after the fact. Manley was upset the dog took up more space than he felt it fucking deserved, citing the police report. Oh my!
So the guy went off on the dog and attacked the dog after it landed.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh, just some heroes just don't wear capes.
How does the pregnant woman get slugged again?
Okay, so you know, people are allergic to the dog. The dog takes up more space than they feel it deserves. So they essentially punch the dog in the fucking face, and you know, the dog screams. So then the couple who own the dog, the couple who is deaf and pregnant, by the fucking way, both of them are fucking deaf. So they get in this guy's face, and then the guy who punched the dog, I just guess, turns around and just punches this fucking deaf girl in the stomach. It just, you know, real in-house abortion, you know. Like, holy fuck.
I don't know what to say.
No, it's one of those Kodak moments, isn't it?
Oh my god, the world is just beautiful in so many fucking little ways sometimes, you know.
Do they have one of those those greeting cards. Sorry, I punched you in the stomach. I mean,
sorry, I aborted your baby.
Oh my gosh.
Did he scream things like "I'm doing you a favor, mate" when he swung?
Oh.
Yeah, we don't need any more deaf people, thank you.
Man, I'm so glad you questioned that, Cabbage. This was well worth the double check here.
Yeah.
What a great fucking story.
So the police showed up after the fact.
Yeah, they did. The flight attendant after the dog got punched, they called security. So after the dog got punched, they called security, and as security was on the way, she got the right coat hanger. To the stuff.
Oh God.
Oh my!
I'm sorry,
man.
it's just so weird. It's just sort of like, well, after the dog got punched, it's just like, yeah, you just breathed over that. It's like, yeah, what, the dog got punched? Yeah, just day to day, normal stuff now. Oh, Dave, he's always punching dogs. He's mad. He's crazy.
See what happened when Bob loose?
Just one of his things. Everyone in the village knows him.
What the hell's wrong with people?
Oh my fuck, man. Oh Jesus. Man, I didn't cry this hard since my fucking friend died. Oh my god. Holy shite. Okay.
I don't.
There are no words, are there?
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's all I can say. Wow.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the dog punching and the the baby punching?
yeah, I think it's rather apt that they were landing in Florida. This is a great Florida man story, and I relish the moments to laugh at it.
It's always nice to see how much empathy you wish to spread around, Mad Dodge, around the world. How empathetic you can be to the situation at hand.
Oh, I thought I was really empathetic there.
I relish the thought of describing this.
I feel sorry for the dog.
Yeah, well, yeah, dog lives matter.
Yeah, I mean, there are only so many trucks apiece, and political jailings. My sympathies are kind of diminishing, but I can spare some for the doggo, I suppose.
Yeah. Think about the poor dog. Won't somebody think of the dogs?
This is what happens when you don't train your dog right. Because as soon as that guy swung.
Yeah, but it wasn't an attack dog. It was a seeing eye dog, or whatever it was.
What's the point of them seeing? They're not seeing what to attack.
Well,
isn't that the purpose of these things?
It didn't see the fist coming, did it?
Oh my fuck, man.
And down the rabbit hole we all go, gentlemen.
Oh, gladly. What a golden story. All right. Well, something else that just recently got aborted, the Star Wars franchise. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you mentioned Rageaholic with this. What did Rageaholic put out a video on it?
Yeah, brilliant one. Very funny.
I assume this is about the new Solo movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they call it the Solo movie because there's only one person in the whole fucking theater watching it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they went on about the box office, totals and things, and that the one thing that happened was loads of people were taking pictures of empty theaters when they were going to watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This it's only you got like one, and someone else who probably went into the wrong studio anyway.
So you think this movie didn't save the franchise? Is that what you're saying?
Might have buried it actually.
You buried it.
Oh yeah. And what was the lady's name? Because there was massive I don't know. I'll look it up in just a second. There was massive controversy about this lady, and she's like the head producer.
Oh, Kathleen, what's her name?
Solo, yeah, like
Oh,
Kathleen
is that
Kennedy or
Disney?
something like that.
Is that the head of Disney or whatever?
She's the head of
Films.
Lucasfilms, I think.
Right. Okay.
Here we are, Kathleen Kennedy. She's the producer of the Solo movie, but she's been producing all the Star Wars movies essentially. Apparently, she's one of the reasons that directors keep hopscotching their way out the front door. But yeah, she's a rad femme. You know, she's a rad femme.
Mhm.
She's a radical feminist, and she's apparently single-handedly just wrecked the Star Wars franchise. She's even publicly come out and admitted these aren't for the fans. This is for the public, or some dumb contradictive statement. No, some double-think bullshit. It was super weird.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
How long is Disney going to keep her there then?
Well, they've had her there for the last for all the movies, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like it's been a slow decline, is it? It's been very consistent. I mean, really, since
at some point you got to pull it. If you got somebody that's killing a money making cow like Star Wars, all right, you've got to at some point put an end to it.
Well, you think they'd have done it by now, wouldn't you? I mean, it's not like it's a hidden.
Well, if you take a look at the numbers that the Star Wars has been generating, whether you agree with their agendas or not, they up until this last one, they were doing okay. Rogue One was still a pretty big hit. It wasn't until this last one, The Force Awakens, where they really started getting a lot of pushback.
Yeah, but the thing is, they depended a lot. Say with when they did Episode 1, 2, and 3, they were really depending on the trust of people from 4, 5, and 6. You know, the originals. The original 3. So but they have been pushing it at every single stage, and now people are just saying, oh, look, we keep hoping that they're going to do it right, and they're not doing it anymore. They keep pushing agendas. They're doing the modifying everything. I mean, what was that? The Millennium Falcon. They even fucking designed the Millennium Falcon's bridge.
Oh yeah, actually, I have a funny story about that. Yeah, it was my girlfriend's birthday, and so I took her out to a real nice place, Denny's. So we were looking at the.
It's better than Arby's. No, is it? Sorry.
Step above. But anyways, yeah. So we were just going out for breakfast, and I noticed the Millennium Falcon on the goddamn menu. I was just like, dude, the Millennium Falcon. They changed everything about it. And she's like, no, they didn't. It's like, yeah, they put on some kind of stupid fucking front piece or whatever it was, and they painted the bitch blue.
Blue.
Yeah, or they put like blue decals. That is, Yeah.
And there's like lights in it. It looks like more like something that you would see in, say, Deep Space Nine. The craft that they go out in. The fighter craft that Cisco
the Defiant. Ship. Yeah.
It looks more like the Defiant than it does the Millennium Falcon. Have you not seen screenshots of the? Well, like I said, watch Rageaholics thing, and there's a picture of it, and you can see it. It looks fuck all like the Millennium Falcon did. It's literally just nothing like it.
See the movie?
Well, I guess he must have seen. Well, no, I think maybe he's just watched the, what's being promoted. I don't know. I can't remember whether he said he'd seen it or not.
Sorry?
I can't remember whether he actually saw it. I presume he's just doing, a promo, a trailer review or something. I don't know. Yes.
Well, my thing with this is, though, a Han Solo movie where you actually see how he became a smuggler and how he got the Falcon. That should be a good fucking movie. How did they fuck that up? I mean, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and it really ticks me off because I swear to God, if Donald Glover wasn't like fucking SJW trash, and if they didn't spew, if this Kathy Kennedy or whatever her fucking name was, if they didn't go on about how Lando Calrissian is a bisexual, alien fucker, some shit like that, they would have picked the perfect fucking character. Like, when I saw the promos, I was like, Donald Glover, holy shit, that's an excellent choice. I didn't even think of that. He'd make an excellent Lando. He looks almost exactly like him. And, you know, he's got, like, the facial hair and everything. He looks fucking perfect. But, yeah, they fucking ruined it. Right down the goddamn drain, dude. And it's like, God, that's so irritating.
But they got it. This is what I really don't understand about this trans thing, right? They are 0.01% of the population, I believe. And yet somehow, and they say they want representation, but there is representation, there's over-representation. There should be one of them in every 10,000 films or something. Or, you know, at least 100 films, then maybe there'd be one. But they're shoving this shit in everything. It isn't about representation.
No, it's about social.
They're promoting this.
Yeah, it's about social change. They're pushing their own social agenda to try and change society. It's not about money or it's about activism. It's not about the movies and stuff. And that was what my rant was yesterday about. Right. The problem, if you want to be an activist, if it's about activism, if that's your thing, fine, go for it. Become an activist. You know, go the activist route. But if you're an entertainer and you choose to be an activist, understand that your activism damages your ability to entertain, whether you like it or not, and whatever your activism is. Yeah. It's going to damage your it's going to damage your entertainment value to people. And it doesn't matter if it's for the right or from the left. People never realize this. I mean, all right, you have certain established mainstream entertainers, right? And yet they caught a lot of hell when they sit up there and joined an activist movement. This happened to Muhammad Ali. This happened to John Wayne. And both of them became activist focal points for opposite sides of what was going on in society. And both of them lost revenue as a result. Now, John Wayne had a much broader appeal because he had been in the limelight a lot longer, whereas Muhammad Ali himself was an entertainer because he was a boxer. All right, so his was a physical type of entertainment, and therefore his his career, all right, is limited by age, right? Whereas actors have a much longer age. I mean, this is true of women actors more than men, but as they age and they lose those, dashing good looks or those, phenomenal good looks, then
you mean that when the tit starts dragging, that
when their acting has to become superior to their looks.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Whether
come out.
There are, well, I mean, you have, like, for example, you have Katharine Hepburn, or not Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, right? Gorgeous, stunning woman.
As she aged, all right, her looks went down, but because she could still act, all right, she still got role after role after role.
Well, you see that with a lot of British actresses because they start on stage. That they have to really refine their art. They don't get discovered or whatever. They have to.
Right, they have to be actors first before they get this. But in the United States, that's very true. Female actors in the United States, as soon as they get a little wrinkle or two on them, unless they have some serious acting chops, they're done. They are.
I mean, look at Helen Mirren. I mean, she's an old woman now. I mean, Dame Judi Dench. There are plenty of examples of British actresses that have, and they're still working now. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be, because exactly what you said. They provide, that they actually do an excellent job. And so, this is the whole point.
I was just going to say.
Sorry, mate, go on.
I just want to say real quick. See, the thing is, though, really, like, with Star Wars headed for the shitter, and Star Trek is doing not just the third. This is the third. I think it's the third of the new Trek movies. They're also doing. Wait a minute. They're also doing another movie with Quentin Tarantino, and Quentin wants it to be R-rated. So it looks like Star Trek is going the opposite way that Star Wars is. Star Wars got bought out by Disney, and now it's going all SJW and fucking weird. And the Star Wars movies, at least, the Star Trek movies, at least, not the TV show. Let's not talk about the STB. All right.
Yeah, because that was your Achilles heel right there, mate. That TV show.
but the movies are looking better, especially if Quentin Tarantino is going to direct and write a fucking Star Trek movie. That will not be your normal Trek, all right? Yeah, I mean, have you seen any of Quentin Tarantino's work?
Well, it does depend on how much free reign he's given.
Well, it depends on how true he is to Star Trek.
Yeah,
whether or not he tries to stick with canon or if he just blows it up entirely.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll do the dark Star Trek.
That would be great.
That would be fine. See, a lot of people talked about Star Trek saying, well, it's supposed to be this hopeful, journey to the stars. And, I've never looked at Star Trek that way. I never did look at Star Trek that way. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from with it, but that wasn't what made Star Trek to me. All right. So I had no problem, for example, with Deep Space Nine. It didn't bother me that it was dark. In fact, the reason I like Deep Space Nine more than the rest of them was simply because it's more realistic from a human point of view. Now, they had their moments. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like every freaking episode. All right, but at least it was more realistic. Okay. So I don't mind if it's dark, but I'll be honest with you, with these new releases that they've come out with, I've absolutely hated them. And the main reason is because they didn't stay true to the storyline. They just kind of threw shit out the window.
The last dark one I remember was when Picard, was assimilated into the Borg. I mean, that was a good one.
Well, the worst part about that is that they didn't do a Troy and they didn't kill her.
Well, real quick, before we scare 40 off, because he's on a Trekkie. But Into the Pale Moonlight, DS9, best episode.
Oh, yeah. Ever. Yeah, that was very good.
It was an awesome episode. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. No, but it would be, what I'd really like to see is one where, the first time that people have to really start doing interstellar travel and deal with the kind of void and just the emptiness and the boring journeys and just turning up and saying, yeah. It's another nebula.
there is a movie that takes that vein, which is Silent Running.
Oh yes, I've seen
which
that.
Which is really it's for its time period. All right, it's an absolutely awesome movie. All right, and it's true. It's true to, if you're a science fiction fan, it's true to the science fiction type of genre where it's exploring humanity with technology, which is really what I enjoyed. Now I realize that that's a bit dated now, but if you ever in the audience out there, if you ever get a chance and you haven't seen it, look up Silent Running. Just don't expect it to be all glory and light and wonderful and peace, because it's not.
Yeah, no lasers.
No, there's no lasers. that's very true.
But yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean, something like that. But and then actually coming across their first, the first real threatening alien or whatever. So like these months and months of just fucking tedium, and then an actual encounter with them. How the fuck do we deal with this? Because it'd be a completely new experience, right? I mean, you wouldn't have, there's no playbook for it because you've never had it before. So it's kind of like, it would be, humanity kind of surviving on its own wits. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It'd be brilliant. I'd love to see a film like that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that Star Trek explored one thing about encountering alien races that no one had ever done before, which was the idea of creating something like a prime directive. And it gives humanity a possible starting point. But is the prime directive really the right way to go? I've often disagreed with the idea of a prime directive. Of all the Star Trek things that's out there, I think the prime directive is one of those. Why did you say of course you would?
You don't like any. Well, I mean, no, actually, I thought you wouldn't like it. No, because it's restricting your ability to assert your authority.
It's restricted your ability to help people. I thought one of the worst episodes in Enterprise was where they could have saved that planet full of genetics or with genetic manipulation, and they chose to let them die because some species may develop intelligence and may become the dominant species.
Well, we're not going to go off on a big old giant Trek rant. I could, though. Yeah, we need to talk more Trek. But 40 ounce, that paternity testing ban, you want to talk about that a little bit before we go full on Trek, or do we want to continue with the sci-fi theme for a few minutes?
I'm sorry for derailing thing. What's this?
Oh, no, I guess he said be right back. I didn't see that. So, yeah, let's stick with Trek. No, that Enterprise episode was really interesting. And I took the opposite take. Because what about humanity? What about the Neanderthals if another race, another intelligent race had came here and decided, well, these Homo sapiens as advanced as the Neanderthals who were actually
you're putting yourself outside of evolution. At that point, you're trying to say that you're outside of evolution. You're not. Suppose the asteroid hadn't come down and wiped out the dinosaurs. You can play what-if games all you want, or you can help people who are in need of help. And even then, even with that attitude, there's no guarantee that this other race was actually going to become dominant or become advanced.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And it was Phlox. It was Dr. Phlox that said, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I want to let evolution take its course, though. So they're arguing opposite of what you're saying. They're saying let evolution handle it, and
right. But if you're saying let evolution handle it, you're setting yourself outside of what evolution is. Who's to say what evolution?
They're saying Darwinist, principles. Like Darwin, natural selection is going to resolve the problem. We don't have to intervene. I mean, that's all. See, you want the purpose of you want
so we shouldn't develop that. So in your mind, we shouldn't develop vaccines. We should just let people die in mass from diseases.
No, it's a false premise. You're conflating things.
How is it a false premise?
No, you conflate because when you say like a vaccine or whatever, that's protecting our own species. But deciding between two species is a totally different thing. Because. What were you deciding?
Hold on. In this case specifically, what were you deciding between two species? You weren't deciding anything.
Which one?
You were helping one species. The other species didn't need help. All right, but there's no guarantee that other species was going to advance or be anything else. You weren't interfering with its development or anything else.
Well, but you were interfering with the dynamics of the evolutionary process on the planet.
Yeah, the fact that you
freaking terraform a planet does that.
No, because
true, but that doesn't violate the Prime Directive. I almost said the NAP.
There was no Prime Directive. Right. First of all, there was no Prime Directive at that point.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, Archer is kind of a prick. He fucks around with all sorts of shit.
He does.
Yeah. When he gets into I want to say Badlands, but that's Deep Space Nine. What was it? The Expanse? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, the Expanse. Yeah.
So you can't come back and there's a reason why I say they should never have developed the Prime Directive, and this is one example of the kind of crap that goes on. You're putting yourself outside of the natural. How do you know it's not natural for a species to go to another planet and help a different species out?
Well,
why is that unnatural?
Question. That's a very good question. Maybe that is part of the process of the universe. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point.
Yeah,
I'll concede that.
No, that's a very good point, because if you look at another race in the Star Trek franchise, the Ferengi, they didn't develop their own warp drive; they bought it. Okay, they are a whole society built on mercantilism. They pretty much are the space British.
Fuck off.
So yeah. I had to, Cab. But
I don't picture the British in Ferengi. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's just a bad image. Bad image.
Space British colonists.
Space Brits. That's what we're going to evolve into.
If you take a look at Star Trek and the Star Trek universe, right? How many different freaking alien species were helping out other alien species? Theoretically, you had the one alien species seeding the universe.
Well, isn't trading doing that fundamentally as well? I mean, any form of trade is changing natural balance.
Well,
Absolutely.
interfering, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, and look at where they got the Prime Directive from. They borrowed it from the Vulcans, who could have helped the humans with the World War III or whatever, but they didn't. They decided to show up after we developed warp drive. Like, you cunts, you couldn't have helped, I don't know, 100 years ago?
No,
I mean,
the reason
really.
no. The reason that they came was because they detected the warp signature, and so when they were passing, they happened to notice it. So that's what made them detour to find out which, because they didn't have on their charts or whatever, an intelligent species there. So the warp drive was a kind of a signature that there's intelligent life.
Here's the question I've always wanted asked. Can somebody explain to me the logic of exploration?
Well, usually it's down to
Expansion?
resources.
Why are you exploring?
Resources and expansion. You go to explore so you can
They
settle
weren't.
new areas.
They weren't.
But
They weren't. They were anti-expansionist. The Vulcans. They weren't trying to colonize other planets. They had no real fierce colonization period once they became Vulcans.
Well,
right.
Maybe when you get to that point, it's a case of, you got to do something. This is, you get to a point where
we got to get off the planet.
Yeah, basically, it's like let's see what's out there. It's got to go visit someplace new. And
then do what with it? I've always wondered with humans, our curiosity drives us dramatically. We are intensely curious. All right, so we are going to explore whether somebody tells us not to. All right, we do that because even as children, we begin our world as exploring. The world around us, always trying to push that. So we'll always be a curious species. But the Vulcans have a different mindset.
Sense of achievement with exploration and also that the challenge and the character building.
That's always a bad sign because you also get a sense of achievement when you overcome things like beat it into the ground.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, no, it's funny. I was looking at the chat and Adrian says exploration equals space pussy. Only for Captain Kirk.
Yeah, really. Good point. We could find new things to fuck. Very good point.
That was the Vulcan ideal? They were driven by sex?
No. I genuinely think Adrian's onto something. I mean, what other reason would you go to Africa for, other than get that fine imported booty?
Hey, the Vulcans were just kind of like deviants. they were weird deviants, and they just wanted to find things to put their dicks into.
So basically, they were the porn collectors, so they could sell things.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The Vulcan porn stash must be massive.
Yeah, the Vulcan database has everything you would ever want. You just have to pay $19.99.
Yeah, but it's available on a sub channel of Pornhub.
That's only if you get the card, right? Don't you have to get the proper permission card from the British government first?
Absolutely, yeah. That and register your fucking TV.
Sold by the Ferengi.
Yeah, you can register for free, but you just have to input your credit card. Oh god.
Yeah, no, isn't that shit some fucked up shit? Like, yeah, right. You're gonna charge.
Before viewing your new porn thing, here's your view of Quark's new holodeck suite.
Yeah. Here's Quark in his new nipple clamps advertising his
Hey, Cabbage, I have an awesome timeshare on Bayshore.
You have a timeshare on Bayshore?
But no, yeah, Bayshore. Deep Space Nine? No, the Trek joke fell flat. All right.
We couldn't hear it because your mic was breaking up.
Yeah, you roboted.
Yeah. Well, if I'm fixed now, then 40. Do you want to go on to the paternity testing ban in France? Yeet.
All right. Yeah, so apparently you can't have a paternity test in France anymore. Let me see. If those samples are found... wait, hold on a second. Oh, here it is. The reasons for which the government said the ban should remain related to the preservation of peace within French families. According to some online articles, Germany has also banned or plans to ban paternity testing for similar reasons. French psychologists suggest that fatherhood is determined by society and not biology.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
for this
my
reason,
fucking
the
God.
president's wife, Carla Bruni, I don't know, she probably surrendered, whatever, describes her father as the man from whom she takes her name. She is friends with her biological dad too, but she doesn't refer to him or think of him as her father. What was the other
Fucking
thing?
ideologues. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
In the
So
U.S.,
basically, what you're saying is that the woman shouldn't be held accountable for any of her sexual acts outside of marriage.
exactly.
So she can go around, screw anybody she wants, and then make you pay for somebody else's kid.
Baby daddy by force.
Oh, but I mean, there's no such thing as fatherhood. So I mean, I don't think I'm obligated to pay that bitch's fucking child support.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, even
Try
if your
that in court and
father-
see what happens. You
You're
know,
gonna be a-
everybody know. I mean, you know as well as I do that they're not going to let that fly. That they're
Oh,
going to make the male pay through the frickin' nose.
MC, do you not remember there was a case which was about a guy who proved that the child wasn't his, and he was paying child support and had been doing for quite a while. Then he proved that the child wasn't his, and the court demanded that he continue to pay his child support.
Yeah.
It didn't matter the fact there was a precedent for him paying child support, so he was going to continue to pay child support.
Yeah. I guess you could say it was a miscarriage of justice.
Yes, I bet he wished she'd had a miscarriage.
Well, that does more damage to the social contract than anything else.
Oh, of course it does.
Yeah.
Because basically what you're saying is that there is no social contract.
Which
Well,
is
wait
why
a minute.
I can understand why some people do go MGTOW. I mean, I do get the idea. I just call it being a bachelor, but you know, I can. Everything's stacked up against you. It really is. It's fucking nuts.
Well, just a second though. Adrian, once again has a great comment in the chat. With a large amount of Muslim inbreeding, 70% of Pakistanis are inbred.
Yeah, and they have a lot of genetic problems too.
Could that have
Hello.
Hello. Oh, his internet's fucked up again.
No, my internet's it's Google Hangouts. They kicked me out and then made me sign back in.
Reset your mic.
Yeah, reset your mic, mate. It's roboting like crazy.
No, now it kicked him out.
Bye-bye.
All right, 15 minutes. Here we go.
Yes, okay. Start the clock.
Okay. There you're back.
There we go. You're back, Mad Dog. Come on, speak to
right,
it, baby.
How about that?
Much better.
Okay, so Adrian once again has a great comment in the chat. He says, "My guess, honestly, it has to do with the large amount of Muslim inbreeding. 70% of Pakistanis are inbred."
You're roboting again.
70% of Pakistanis are inbred.
I think I might be able to get so. There's probably some kind of I can't remember, what are they called? Is it like infanticide or I don't fucking know.
Well, yeah, they
is it like was that?
Well, it's called incest.
Incest. What the fuck was I thinking? Never mind. So yeah, I'm sure
you're
they have.
Sick man. You're a sick man. We need to speak sometime off air in the quiet place.
We now know where the story came from of punching the pregnant lady.
Yeah.
You see, he didn't think about, feeling sorry for the dog until I pointed it out. He was laughing at the bitch getting punched in the stomach.
Well, I mean, I guess she did have it coming, as sources say. But yeah, anyway, I mean, here's the point I think he's getting at. If there are some kind of incest laws, and with the massive amount of immigrants that they have, I bet you most of the immigrants coming in probably couldn't even be married to their wives. They're probably cousins or, God forbid, sisters or something to that extent. I don't fucking know.
No, that might be true, but do you really think that that's the reason they're doing this? I honestly think that the reason they're doing this is once again they're listening to the feminist agenda where men have to pay for everything and they have to be responsible for everything regardless of what the women do, what a woman does. And they say women have they have all the they have all the choices. When are you gonna give them a little bit of the responsibility that goes along with those choices? It seems like all they've been doing lately in society, all right, is removing any kind of responsibility a woman has while giving her free reign to do whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, mate.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. Seriously, round of applause.
Yeah. Well, and it goes, sorry, not to keep shoving this fucking book down your guys' throat, but I mean, it does again remind me of 1984, because I mean, in 1984 they had a complete breakdown of the nuclear family. At one point, these people are completely sexless and everything like that, and the relationship that the main character has is completely forbidden with this girl. It's forbidden to have sex, literally. Everything is a construct. Everything is forbidden. All sex is rape.
Yeah.
So
well, I know, no, but I think
reduce mankind to nothing. You might as well be a robot then.
Yeah.
I mean, effectively, well, I mean, look, exactly as you said, it's a case of you effectively just become subordinate to the requirements of the woman. So it's got nothing to do with your inherent rights anymore. You have no rights.
You worry about subordinates to the state? This is an example of it.
Exactly.
Well then, if my mic's working now, at what point does a marriage no longer become a partnership then?
Well, when somebody fucks about, I would guess.
I mean, with this construct that you guys are talking about, with the women could do whatever they want, and the man has to literally.
Oh no, you end the concept of marriage. Marriage means nothing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't mean anything at that point. I mean, this is ridiculous.
In a lot of ways, the whole purpose of marriage was to protect women. Now you're pretty much guaranteeing that men will not get married.
Yeah.
You're putting a barrier to marriage right then and there to prevent marriages from ever taking place, because the guy's going to go, why would I get married? What advantage do I have getting married? What difference does it make?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, where's the upside? And don't forget, the men generally, we're pretty good gamers. I mean, we use, a lot of the gamer theory. I mean, it's what is the up and what is the down? And when all you're seeing is downsides, you're not gonna. Or if you do, I mean, you're never going to give your real name, you're gonna use condoms, or you're going to make damn sure that you get what you want, because the women are going to still be wanting it, as are the men. And the thing is that the men just aren't going to be willing to, to be a part of anything. So they will end up having to be victimized, single parent women. Oh, I'm on my own. I have to do everything myself, which is what they wanted anyway.
Marriage is a total social construct. All right.
Yes.
Society
is a social construct. That's
it was created to prevent social strife. That's what it was there for. That's what it was created for. That and child rearing. All right. So you're basically destroying the one mechanism society created for successful child rearing. You think it's going to come out of freaking thin air now?
And when a man is paying for his child or whatever, when a man has a child with a baby or intends to have one, he's intending to pass on his genes, not somebody else's. He doesn't want to support the cost of rearing somebody else's kid. And I don't think that's a complicated idea for these French people to, But then again, they created Jean-Paul Sartre. What do you expect?
I bet if you tried to sit up there and go on Speaker's Corner and preach something like that, Cabbage, you may be arrested and you might be having a cell next to Tony Robinson.
Well, and I think this is somewhat. I think this is somewhat related to what we're talking about with the. Okay, so I was watching Faith Goldie. She said the evil 14 words, right, on a podcast like months ago. Well, Patreon recently found out, and they killed her Patreon. She then turned around and changed white in the 14 words to Aboriginal. And then she walked around Toronto, Canada, and asked people if this is a good idea, and please sign a petition to protect Aboriginal children and, you know, Aboriginal families. And she got over like 300 fucking signatures. At one point, she had a line of people to sign it. So,
Wow.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, at what point does it become completely pointless to even try and keep the family unit? Whether it be a white family, Aboriginal, Black, or interracial, it doesn't matter. But the family unit itself is under attack, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's this, I can't remember the name of the book for the life of me. It's a really strange book, and it's, you know, the promoting feminism and everything, but there's this book where eventually all the women of the world get together and they say, right, we're going to stop having sex. We're sick of war, we're sick of poverty, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to stop having sex with males. And that's essentially the premise of the book. Now, the women are essentially put into sex camps, but, you know, that's not what I'm getting at. But all these women get together and say, right, we're just going to stop having sex. And it's so funny because I feel like eventually that's going to be the future, only it's going to be the men that are saying that.
But that's the thing, you see. Why do you think women are so upset about these sex dolls?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they've been happy to use dildos, you know, disembodied, you know, pieces of men for a long time, right? But the minute that a man actually wants to have a whole, you know, complete woman or whatever, you know, that oh, no, now that's just totally unacceptable. And so, yeah, I mean, they don't want to see themselves made redundant, but they're making themselves redundant by their unreasonable demands. But they don't see it that way because they've been told that they can do no wrong and everything they say is correct and their shit doesn't stink.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, they've made a rod for their own back. I mean, anyone who follows this feminist stuff. There's one great thing, actually, about Britain. Only 9% of women in this country, like, associate as being feminist, you know, or openly declare themselves feminist, which you know, is quite comforting in a way. It's about the last comforting thing we got left. It's got to be one statistic you can grab a hold of and say, at least we got something.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess that just means you'll be an aristocracy in a few years then.
Yeah, probably.
Jesus.
Well, you know, further from what somebody was saying there about, I mean, like all these kids, right? So you got women who are having all these kids, and then there won't be any dads and things, and they won't want to take responsibility, so they'll probably give them to the state. And then it will be interesting to see whether you end up with sort of compelled parenting. It only seems like a step away, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, literally something right out of like Plato's Republic.
Yeah.
Children are raised by the state, you know. Everyone is a father, everyone is a mother. Yes, every child is yours. Christ all fucking mighty. What a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah,
that
but
sounds
come
like
on,
Hillary Clinton's book. Didn't she write a book on that? It takes a village to raise a child or some bullshit?
Oh, yeah, I remember the quote. I never read the book.
Yeah, and I was never able to find this article, and it really ticks me off. But there was a genuine article from a credible news source. It was an opinion piece, of course, but there was an article from a major news source genuinely promoting the idea that the state should raise children. I have never been able to find it since, but
well, no, yeah, but like I said, I'm thinking about this. Well, you become wards of the state, but then the state then compels people to parent. Yeah. Right. So
well,
so instead of adopting, you are issued a child.
Well, yeah, and I want to point out, in Sparta, only two groups of people were buried with the ceremony: women who died during childbirth, and men who died on the battlefield, because both died for their government. And that's a scary thought. All right, the fact that you're having a baby for the government is frightening to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, even in some weird, strange society like that Plato bases his work off of, they still had the concept of a family. You know, there were still things like mothers and fathers because they understood it to be natural. you know, as you know, as socialist as the Spartan state was, they hadn't completely destroyed their society with it.
Oh, well, I mean,
it's,
40 with regard. I mean, that idea of the state completely raising the children. You just need to look at Brave New World. That's exactly where Aldous Huxley goes with that. By the way, I sent you that Aldous Huxley link. You got it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
For the Berkeley interview. That's exactly what he goes into. The fact that you like there is sex, but there's no responsibility. Again, no responsibility, no accountability. Just you're just there to reproduce for the collective. You are a breeding unit.
Real quick, Cabbage. My copy of A Brave New World got ruined. So if you have that on PDF, can you send it to me?
Yeah, no problem, mate. Do you want any others? Got plenty of them. I'll send you a book list if you want.
Yeah, send me the book list. Yeah, because I already got a bunch of works from you, so I think I have a good portion of your library already. Anyway, we can continue.
I don't think so, mate. You'll be very surprised. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about the fact that raising children should be for the benefit of the state? MC, does that scare you?
No, I don't like that idea because you're dealing with you're destroying the family unit. If you want to sit up there and go down the road of Sparta, go ahead. I've never suggested that the Spartan model is a social model we should be trying to emulate in any way, shape, or form. All right, if you come back with that idea, and if you're a woman and you think that's a good idea, think about what they did. They basically sit up there and told women your sole job is to sit up there and produce children for the state.
Oh.
So basically, you are nothing more than
incubate.
Shut the hell up and take it. All right, if that's the society you want, if you think that that's a good society, I'm not going to disabuse you of it because you're obviously insane.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's effectively what you ended up with. Now, in Sparta, to be honest, because of how they were doing their inheritance and everything, there were certain women that had a tremendous amount of power. All right, but that wasn't the average woman. And it's the same thing as here in the United States. Just because certain people have a lot of power doesn't mean that the average citizen does. In the United States today, the only reason that the average citizen has more power than what you had in the past was because of one reason: the ability to vote.
Yeah, and don't forget, MC, this is exactly the bullshit about white privilege. It's like, well, yeah, but there's plenty of white people who are homeless, and I don't see them having much white privilege. I mean, like you said, it's for the minority, not for the majority.
I mean, if you're going to sit up there and produce and put things and say that everything is to the state, then you might as well be Nazis, because that's what Nazism. That's really what fascism is.
Well,
is the state basically has control.
Well, weirdly enough, the Spartans were more like communists, actually. If you look at it, the way the society was formulated, I mean, everyone got their rations. Everyone got, and they used to eat basically a porridge mix and things, and everyone got their quota. Well, everyone was required to service the state.
Inside of the mess. Inside of the mess, the men, yes, but that was because it's very militaristic.
Yeah, but Russia was pretty militaristic too, and that was communist.
Yeah, but you had the same thing happening in Hitler. If you would allowed Hitler to sit there and live for another 20 years, if the Nazi Germany would have existed for 20 years without attacking, it would have gone down that same route.
Well, don't forget that Germany had those breeding, farms for, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryans. I mean, this is the thing they are the same bloody thing, really.
And exactly. And if you'd have given it another 20 years, another 25 years, where you start to get generations involved now, where you have generations start to take place, you can have a society change like that within a couple generations in a dramatic manner. What's going to be the end result? You can pretty much kiss anything anyone even entails or thinks about as individual rights. You can pretty much kiss it goodbye.
Well, it becomes a collective, doesn't it? Then you become the hive. You become the Borg.
Well, you become in a certain sense, but at the same time, you're humans, and the way humans do that is any nail that sticks out gets hammered down. So if you have a philosophy that runs counter to the group, whatever that group decides, guess what? You're going to get hammered down. If the group decides homosexuality is the thing, you're homosexual, great. But if that group decides homosexuality isn't the thing that needs to be gotten eradicated, guess what? You're going over the cliff.
The Spartans liked a little bit of arse play. We all know that.
Well, no, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that aspect of Spartan life. That is very true. But I was just pointing it out that, all these people who are social justice warriors, if you think that your social justice is going to be adhered to, that's fine and dandy as long as you're in the in group. If you're in the out group, though, you get the bullet.
Well,
you get the high dive.
But that applies to all of these.
You get sent to prison like Tommy Robinson.
Yeah. No, you will not be sent to prison. You will just be killed. You will not. I'm serious. You're not going to be sent to prison in those types of societies. You're just killed. You're killed outright. Now they may enslave you for a bit and use you as slave labor and whip you till you die, but it's a death sentence. What they're actually sentencing you is to death. They don't care about rehabilitation. There's no rehabilitation.
Mad Dodge, read the Gulag Archipelago. It's quite enlightening as to the way these people get treated when they become inconvenient for the leadership. When their supporters become inconvenient, they will go to the Gulag Archipelago. Yeah.
No,
but then again,
joined the chat, and this is pretty funny. He says, well, children are evil and full of sawdust and cockroaches, so we should totally turn them over to the state. And he also added, they are figuring out how to harvest cockroaches for their milk. They find cockroach milk 3 times more nutritious than buffalo milk. Coincidence? I think not. I think he's onto something. Yeah, they're trying to steal our children to milk them.
Cockroaches so don't produce milk. They're not.
There's 6 children, just the experiment for this process.
No,
I would have a cockroach. More. Is that what it is?
No, never. That's fucked up. Although I do have an ex-wife.
Don't have milk.
So
they are not. They're not fucking mammals. They don't lactate. Just a point. I just thought I'd point that reality out.
Have you seen that story going around though everywhere? Like they keep talking about cockroach milk like it's a real thing. What the fuck?
Jesus. Yeah, I thought somebody the other day told me that whales lay eggs, but I think I misunderstood what was being said.
Whales lay eggs?
No, I said...
There are a lot of articles about fucking cockroach milk for some fucking reason. I think it's fucking...
You just Googled cockroach milk to see what this was all about. Is that what you're saying, Morty?
He's looking for some cockroach titties. That's all it was, right?
Yeah, this was a porn search, but now I'm just being educated.
Well, I hear if you want to learn how to clean your firearm, you just go over to Pornhub now, because that's what all the cool kids are doing.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's right. Well, they don't censor, so it's a very clever idea to go there.
Oh yeah, you can go to there to get your intellectual rocks off. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, according to our newspapers, all porn sites are going to be unavailable by the end of this year. Apparently, we're going for the Great China, the Great Firewall of China now.
So what you're trying to say is everybody in the UK has been downloading as much fucking porn as possible, right?
Dude, I was about to say, porn is gonna be like the new thing on like the British black market or something.
It'll be currency. It'll become currency.
Yeah.
The new Bitcoin is going to be porn.
Yeah.
How many gigabytes of whatever?
Well, the thing is that it'll be in a chain, right? It'll be a blockchain. So, like 15 minutes per, 10 minutes per porn coin or whatever.
Yeah. Go to the store to buy a drink and that'll be 2 megabytes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I want 1 hour and 20 minutes of your finest porn. Make it snappy.
No, and it's so fucked up. No, because you have to register with the government, right? So if you're kind of weird and you got a foot fetish or a midget fetish or something fucking weird, then your MP is gonna know about it, or your councilman or whatever. Like, you gotta register with the fucking government, you know. Yeah. So this guy, he fucking watched 10 hours of midget porn last week.
Can you imagine the identity? Can you imagine the identity politics that'll be played with that?
Yeah,
Oh my god, Jesus Christ!
Blockchain's an open ledger.
I don't know. I am reluctant to imagine the foot job party of fucking 2020. That is not something I want to be involved in. Oh my god. What's the world coming to? You know what? I'm starting to think the Vulcans are right. Let's just get the fuck out, guys. I don't want to work here anymore.
We should follow the Advocate's path.
We joke. Yeah. We joke, but this shit does happen. This shit does happen.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
man.
Eldritch God is on a roll tonight. Here's another good one from Eldritch. Give the UK your personal identity, a blood sample, semen, and eggs. Sign over, control your children, and drink a pint of cockroach milk. Goddamn.
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
All you had to do.
I want to see
How
something.
come you haven't been reporting this, 40? I mean, you live in California where all this shit is starting.
Yeah.
You've been freaking holding out on us, man.
40, you should be putting out educational videos on how to milk a cockroach.
I mean, if you insist, I guess.
I mean, I need the specification of the tweezers.
Your public demand.
Yeah, I'll just holding the cockroach over a glass, give them tiny.
Give it a little squeak.
Yeah.
Keep them happy.
I would watch someone milk a cockroach, and I will pay you money to watch one.
I'll tell you what. If I find
start
out
a Patreon, you got it.
I'll tell you what. If I find out how, and I'll get my hands on a cockroach, I will definitely let you guys know what video's coming up.
I'll give you $100 a month just to watch it.
You're a sick,
Holy
sick,
shit!
sick
I'm catching
man.
cockroaches.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say I have to go, guys. I'll be right back.
Oh my god, it's gonna be cockroach porn, and it's gonna be the next big thing. It is.
No, nugget porn is the next big thing.
Nugget. What? Chicken McNugget.
No
when
arms,
the
no
rotel
legs.
is rocking, don't come knocking.
Oh god. This took a dark turn.
This just some cockroach porn.
Good.
It's okay, MC.
It's fine. It's only interspecies sex we're talking about. It's only it's not even bestiality if it's an insect, is it?
I think it's still a bestiality.
Is it?
I don't know. Is that illegal? Can you fuck a cockroach? God,
I think you'll pop a few. I don't know, how small are you?
You know, you can suggest it's going to turn into a Tide Pod craze.
Yeah,
it's going to freaking just have people opting out of the gene pool at an exorbitant rate, and we're going to get blamed.
Now, what you'll have to do is they're
going to be coming back going, Mad Dodge's stream started all this.
Yeah,
you've got streaming rights goodbye forever.
Yeah, you've got to insert the cockroach. You got to insert the cockroach into your urethra. And
oh my god!
You think about the different size roaches
and fap until it exits.
Yeah, we have to use different condom sizes to determine the size of cockroach. You buy them as a package deal.
I am so glad that my mother doesn't listen to me. This is.
Don't worry, my
little legs and everything. Think about it. Well, it's no different than sticking a hamster up your ass.
Well, I'll just say, is this worse than the chicken fucking talk that we had yesterday? The chicken fucking talk.
I mean, I don't know. At least you can fuck a chicken. I don't know. Oh,
please fill me in on the chicken talk.
Yeah. Chicken fucking. Have you not heard it? It's all the rage. Oh, you have
all the rage. What the hell did I miss for an entire week? What the hell have you been doing? Holy crap!
Yeah, you actually did miss quite a bit.
He did. Yeah. Wasn't good.
Yeah, teach you to
Oh,
leave the
me.
show. You missed out on all the good chicken fucking.
Oh, she maybe.
I can't help it. I
Sorry,
was either
came back.
training for war or I'm playing PUBG, so I miss it.
You missed the what? The cockroach milking?
No, the,
Oh, the
chicken fucking.
Oh, the chicken.
Yes. Oh yeah. Did you guys watch that Bubba the Love Sponge with the chicken fucking thing? Oh, it's funny.
What the hell are you talking about, Kevin?
No, I didn't watch that.
I sent you the link. Damn it! You see, I send shit. Nobody pays attention.
Oh,
Now
I
you
don't
know
really
why.
watch bestiality unless it's about dogs or horses.
yeah, well, maybe I don't want the shame of having that in my fucking YouTube history.
Yeah, well, you can always clear it.
Oh, god damn it, Eldritch.
Do I-
Okay.
Give
Eldritch
Google
God
will
said,
just keep it in their history. You'll never get away from it.
real quick,
Why
Eldritch
doesn't
God
Eldritch
said,
come in?
he says there's centipede porn. I present Galaxy of Terror, and he has a YouTube link that I refuse to click on.
Send Moondog the link on Twitter. I'll watch it.
Yeah, but you see, I'll take your centipede and I'll up you a millipede.
Oh my god.
I mean, it could be as disturbing as snuff porn, okay? I'll watch it.
This is so gay.
Yeah, it could go so so silent after that.
Okay. Let's try and recover. This is not going well. All right.
No. It's going very well. It's going excellent. How are the viewing figures going? How many are you watching now?
Well, we've dropped to 5. We were at 11 at one point.
Okay. We're disillusioning our audience.
That's not because I join, okay? I'm part of the reason why everybody leaves.
You need to get well. Why
I
doesn't
don't think we're
Eldritch
worried
come
about
in?
that. So
Why doesn't Eldritch join?
Because then we'll lose a viewer, and he's watching snuff porn, I think.
Yeah. Well, no. He's watching caterpillar porn. We already established that.
caterpillar porn.
Okay,
Here you go,
no.
Here you go, side chat.
To recover a little bit, do you think it was right for Patreon to kick Faith Goldie off because she uttered the 14 evil words?
Nope.
Negative,
Totally
but you have to look
ridiculous.
at the terms of service that they have. So they have the
Yeah,
right to,
and they shouldn't have them.
but they don't have the right to. Oh, no, okay.
Yep. No, well, I mean, they may have the right to, but it was very poorly misapplied. I think that, yes, technically they could do it. That doesn't mean that they have to do it. You know? It's their choice, right? The terms of service is becoming very sketchy these days. It's getting very sketchy these days, in terms of service.
Yeah. Changing on the daily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
absolutely.
must be done.
I just, well, no, and the fact that she turned around and reworded it, replaced white with insert any other fucking color here,
Exactly.
and then it was just fine. Everybody wants to sign the petition. Come on.
But come on, I mean, look at Lauren Southern getting banned from Britain. I mean, from an entire fucking country. For Christ's sake. Just nonsense. Like she's a threat to anybody.
She changed one word. Everybody jumps the bandwagon, tried to get her back. That just tells you how stupid everybody is. Not just stupid, mentally retarded is the correct word for that.
Mm-hmm. It is.
That's how lazy, intellectually dishonest and lazy they are.
Yep. Welcome to Britain.
Oh, Britain.
We've gone downhill a lot.
Britain's like California. It's going straight to hell. Actually, no.
It is.
Hell will be a better place. They're going straight to heaven.
But, damn it, I still believe we can turn it around. We had World War I, World War II. We've dealt with worse before. We'll get it back.
Not internal. When was the last time you dealt with something like this internally, though?
Yeah,
that's what's very scary.
Bunch of child raping Muslims. You can't really get rid of that.
Around the 1700s, we had the same sort of thing.
Was it 1700s? Last time we had a big fight on 1700s when America wanted to be their own country. That's when we beat your ass.
No. But like I said, but that's the whole point. We had a lot of shit to deal with over here. You know, you were a minor issue at that point.
It could be a minor issue if we had a war.
Well, it wasn't really a war. We sent a bunch of Germans over because the British wouldn't fight each other.
Yeah, we hated those fuckers too. Fuck them.
Yeah. See? So sent over the Hessians, and that's, you know, good on you. You won. Well, we won. You know.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, well, you know, free-thinking people won. That's what I'm saying.
No, you guys lost. You tried to get revenge with the War of 1812.
1812. With the Canadians coming down and burning the White House.
That was not the Canadians that came down. They did not sit there and build ships and sail on down.
Yes, it was the Canadians.
It was One thing, I rather the Canadians invade us than the Middle Eastern goat fuckers.
I'm gonna turn your White House black.
Sport.
Yeah.
Well, if you think that's true, just wait a few years because the Canadians, aka the new Muslim state, will sit up there and be the ones doing the invading.
Yes, the
hopefully that's.
caliphate.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case because my favorite baseball team is from up there.
You like the Blue Jays?
Yes, I do.
You poor sap.
Okay. Well,
I know,
right?
So
Go Dodgers. Go Dodgers.
Okay,
I'm sorry, but
listen, I admit the Jays suck.
I just can't believe there's a sports team called the Blue Jays. That's about the gayest fucking name I've ever heard for a sports team.
It's less gay than the Royals.
It's just a bird. There's plenty of bird names. There's the Cardinals. There's the Eagles.
Yeah, Cardinals. But Cardinals also has other meanings.
Orioles.
Like,
yeah.
Know,
baseball has
pretty gay, but Blue Jays
Falcons.
is just particularly. Yeah.
Falcons.
Yeah. Well, what do you got next? The Falcons are a decent one because that's a predator. You know.
Well, no, I think the stupidest name in all of Major League Baseball has to be the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics, really. Why don't you just call yourselves the fucking jock straps? Like, really?
Yeah, that is pretty fucking dumb. Yeah.
Well, we have a few football teams that call themselves whatever Athletics. Yeah, we do have that too.
Well, it's good if you call yourself Athletics if you're actually on a winning team.
Yeah,
if
and
you
the
lose
thing
very
is, the
badly
ones that
every
call
season,
themselves that
it's
are
no
always
point.
shit. Yeah.
No, the A's have won a number of World Series. So.
Well, they did cause the first perfect game this season. Guess the number one offense in baseball.
What's the number one offense in baseball right now?
The Boston Red Sox.
Oh.
They shut them out. First perfect game of the game season.
Well, yeah, but Matt Kemp is fucking hitting 3-run home runs every other game. I'm not worried about the Dodgers. But I'm looking at the chat again, and Alice here reworded the 14 words. We must secure the existence of their people in a future for immigrant children. So, I mean, I'm sure that won't get me kicked off YouTube. That's fine. I love immigrant children.
We must secure the future of white children forevermore.
If you're trying to use this kind of tactics, these kind of logic, all right, to secure black children, what you're trying to secure them for is slaves. You have never.
Yeah. Okay. So we go back to the good old days. Excellent.
Oh yeah.
God damn it,
The good old days of Civil
my
War.
political campaign just died. Thank you.
Well done, Cabbage.
It's dead. The Mad Dogs 2020 just died because of Cabbage. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll vote for you.
This is what happens when memes isn't around to drain you in. Isn't he your
spokesman?
Your spokesman?
You're tame liberal.
He is. I chose a liberal. That's right. It should bring me more centrist, you know. And then I'm going to load the cabinet with a bunch of anarchists, and we're going to have a real good time. But
the old saying, bring me your centrists, I will give you an adult.
Yeah. But Colt of the Lich is in the chat. Hey, buddy. Yeah, free Tommy. Absolutely. It's a travesty what happened over there. We talked about that for, I think, like 2 hours, pretty much, between the two. the two halves of the show. So
I have no idea what that means. So okay, I joined late.
You don't know what that
Tommy
means?
Robinson.
Dude, I've been playing PUBG and drinking my misery to fucking alcoholism. Of course, I don't know.
Hey, good enough.
Everyone needs a hobby.
dropped God as my Lord and Savior and tried to pick up Satan. So a lot's been going on the past 24 hours.
Oh yeah, I voted in that poll. I chose Lucifer. Did I win?
Hey, Lucifer has 2 votes. Atheism has 0. And last time I checked.
Oh, nice. I even retweeted it. I'm hoping people.
Yeah,
Lucifer.
the other person who liked it voted Lucifer too.
Send us a stick. See what he votes it as.
Oh, shit. It's definitely Lucifer.
Church of Satan's getting another member.
Dude, don't fucking do it. Dude, no, seriously, fucking Church of Satan is such a fucking goddamn scam. Oh, what's this? You want to join? Send us $200, and then we'll give you a plastic fucking card in the mail.
It's like the.
I got my own fucking seance. What the fuck? No,
it's like those things. Buying a $30 just to believe in a fucking fairy tale.
If you become the newest member, 40 loses his place as the Gimp.
It's like those things you used to get. It's like those things you used to get in the back of Mad Magazine, you know, next to the sea monkeys, you know, like, so, you know, send in a coupon and you get your little plastic card to say that you're a member of the Church of Satan, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
you don't even get a magazine.
Well, no, you could worship Satan independently. You don't have to be a member.
If you look at the
but you got to have proof, mate. You need everyone needs ID these days.
If you actually look at the Church and Satan's commandments, it's a lot better than the Church commandments. It literally says saying love thy neighbor as thyself is if you go to somebody else's house, respect their home.
Yeah, it's very
vice
conservative.
Versa. It says protect children.
Policy.
Do not have sex unless it's consented.
Well, his internet. Oh, there he is. He's back.
There we go.
His YouTube hates the word Satan.
It's the Satanic Bible. Here we go.
Yeah, it says.
Would anyone else like a copy of it?
Yeah, Christian Bible says.
No, I got one.
The woman is sold to the rapist. And the book of Satan says, if you rape somebody, you get revenge. There's no rape in Satanism.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a darker note in Satanism, but Eldritch God again says he's dead. Sorry, but he's dead. He'll never get out of prison alive, like the guy who they arrested for throwing a bacon sandwich at a mosque.
Yeah, well, I tell you, if he is, it's going to be a flashpoint. I would say that it's going to be one of the deciding factors in how this goes down.
Oh,
the government will be making a big rod for its own back in that case.
Arresting somebody for throwing a bacon sandwich at a mosque. That tells you how bad they're trying to cover up Muslims.
Oh yeah.
Did that guy die in prison?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The guy who put the bacon sandwich on he put a bacon sandwich on the entrance to a
mosque.
To a mosque. Yeah.
Right. This is in Canada, right?
No, it's in Britain.
Yeah, it's in Britain.
It's in Britain. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he also protect the fucking child rapists and goat fuckers.
Yep. Well, we know that because they've already been hiding all of these, grooming gangs, which is what Tommy Robinson got arrested for reporting on, as a media representative. Although he's not technically now, because he's not a member of Rebel Media, is he? So he doesn't have press credentials technically. That's another thing they probably tried to squeeze out of that.
Mm.
You know.
Well, what's it take to have press credentials?
I don't
I've
know.
often asked
probably a cavity search or something.
You must love minorities. You must love these fucking Muslims. That's the only way you can say anything. Anything wrong? Oh, you're going to prison.
Yeah, if you want a lanyard, you got to have a cavity search.
Fuck to loving your country, like that one guy. I still remember the story that one person who opened a store for Britain. Italy says Little Britain as his name.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody attacked it because it was racism.
Mm-hmm.
And though it was a store to celebrate Great Britain, the country.
That's right.
That's
and it was in London, in the capital.
Yeah.
The very capital of the country.
I remember reading that article.
And all he was doing was selling simple things like teapots and pictures of the Queen and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't as
just knickknacks to say, "Hey, I live in Great Britain. I love this country." That's considered racism.
Dude, fucking lol. You open up a tourist trap. You open up a tourist trap, and you literally get called a fucking racist. That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's all it was. It was just souvenirs for people, just souvenirs, nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Souvenirs, that's considered as racism.
Sure.
Well, I suppose nowadays it would have to be a souvenir of, I don't know, Pakistan or something. You'd have to stock it with Pakistani flags and, maybe you'd have to shit on the floor just so they can feel at home.
Yeah, but here in America, they keep trying to shut down a Cooter's store or whatever. He was a guy on Dukes of Hazzard, and he has a store that sells Confederate flag memorabilia. Fucking the Dukes of Hazzard card, the General Lee, and all that. Mm-hmm. And they keep trying to shut him down. I think he might be actually shutting down. I don't remember. I thought I read something.
I don't know, because I know his home shop. I mean, the shop he goes at is close to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Like, I'm not what I just said. It's in a certain proximity where my hometown is. This is really home shop where he actually goes to meet fans.
Yeah, they've been trying to shut him down for 5 years now because of the whole Confederate flag bullshit.
I mean, it's just a fucking flag.
Yeah, and it's a nice flag, actually. I like the design. It's a good flag.
Oh, yeah.
There are very few flags around the world which are actually good, and that is a particularly nice one, I think. Well, although having said that, isn't that the battle flag? Is it
it's the
battle flag?
It's the Tennessee battle flag. Because the Virginia, the Virginia battle flag is a square. The Tennessee battle flag is Lily. This is history. The Democrats brought the Tennessee battle flag to support the racism against black people back in the 1960s and 70s.
Oh, so yeah, the Democrats who brought were pro-slavery. Yeah.
Yeah, and they was pro-racism.
Yeah. So, didn't they also form... Didn't they form the KKK too, the Democrats?
Yes.
Wasn't it Democrats?
Well, the person who formed the KKK was Nathan Bedford Forrest.
That was a different Klan, though, than the one everybody associates. Okay. Yeah. Reconstruction was a different thing, MC. I think we could at least agree on that until we do
I agree. I agree.
And we hit
with that too.
But when we hit Reconstruction, we'll have a great argument, I think.
And the one thing a lot of people failed to mention, the first slave owner in America, believe it or not, was a black person.
And the largest and the largest slave owner in New Orleans was a freed black, and that was at the time of the Civil War. And he was actually the most harsh master owner, whatever you want to call him, piece of shit, that there was in the whole area. He was notorious for whipping his slaves to a damn near death. I mean, yeah, people don't know.
A lot of slave owners who were really harsh on their owners were blacks. So it was really black on black crime back in the Civil War, but a lot of people seem to ignore it because they don't believe blacks can be slave owners, even though you can look at history, the census, whatever the thing's called, shows that there were black slave owners.
But you can't use facts. You got to use feels, right? That's what we all know. That's
Fuck
been well
feelings.
proven.
I was issued feelings when I was born.
We all know that was just internalized racism, you guys.
Yeah, and misogyny, obviously, because that goes without saying.
I'm offended by feelings. Let's go fuck yourself.
No, this is one of the problems when people throw away, actual historical events and think that they apply some kind of emotional context to a historical event. They have absolutely no connection to whatsoever.
Because your fourth great grandfather was a slave doesn't make you a slave. Sorry, but it's not true.
Well, you want to see real slavery. There's open slave markets in Libya right now. And what happened to create that? Oh, I don't know. A big country intervened.
Let's see here. Great Britain whites, not all of them, but a lot of the political ones are fucking dumbasses. A lot of American political people are dumbasses. People that think Hillary Clinton should be fucking president is fucking bunch of dumbasses.
Well, anybody who thinks
a lot
that
of the
Hillary
Western world
Clinton was,
is full of fucking dumbasses.
Well, they're because they're trained not to think. They're not trained to actually look at things and think for themselves.
Yeah, no critical thinking skills.
If
no choice.
They will go out to try and stomp on you, just like these. Look, I don't like Jay-Z.
No,
I've never liked
Jay-Z. They was born middle class. That's the big problem. Well, I used to love Jay-Z because my brother listened to him.
I can't stand Jay-Z. I never could I never liked that kind of music to begin with. All right, and I still don't. I didn't like it. I don't care what color you are. All right, because for a variety of reasons, right? Not the least of which is because I don't think it takes a lot of talent to actually do rap.
I used to care until I joined the military.
And then so you see, but here's Jay-Z. He comes out with which is a pretty benign statement. All right, saying think for yourself and look at the uproar it caused. Now, like I said, I'm not a supporter of Jay-Z. I'm not a supporter of Candace Owens.
No, that was Kanye. No, that was Kanye West who did that.
Kanye
Jay-Z.
West. I'm sorry, not Jay-Z. Kanye West. You're right.
Yeah.
I misspoke. But I've never liked any of that stuff, any of that music. I don't like freaking Candace Owens. I think she's opportunist, right?
She's the worst.
She's extremely fucking shady.
She's an opportunist. Yeah. She's like a lot of grifters, in my opinion. All right.
I can't believe how quickly everybody on our side, though, on the I don't know what you call us, but
anti-progressive.
Anti-progressive free thinking. I can't understand how they got so suckered in by that woman. It just seems so obvious. It was like, why are you adopting this woman?
Oh,
like Dave Rubin and Sargon of Akkad, and everyone wanted to have this woman on because, hey, look, we've got a convert.
Yeah. Well, especially the whole fiasco with her doctor's website.
Yes,
exactly. All right. I mean,
yes.
You're going
to say the least.
If you're going to be a defender of free speech, now people make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, but she's never even come back and said that was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and
she's justified it.
Exactly,
she's justified it.
And look. Like I said, people can do things and make a mistake, but if you're truly invested in free speech, all right, then why would you even consider a doxing website? Now, I understand if you want to get back at people, right? People are emotional and they let their emotions rule them, all right. But at the same time, you've got to be able to step back and take a look at this and say, okay, what's the higher priority? If the higher priority is freedom of speech, then you can't let your emotions rule you. Otherwise, you're doing the same thing that they are. Mm-hmm. You're letting emotions run the day. And guess what? Emotions are if all you're going to do is argue about emotions, nobody wins.
But it's my feels, buddy. My feels. Like I said, feels not facts.
Fuck your feels.
Exactly. Yeah.
People only think, feelings.
That's not the game they're playing. You see,
if you say feelings are number one in your fucking lifestyle, that means you haven't lived life, or you're just too cuddled while growing up.
There's far too many people that have been coddled growing up.
Yep. They're being spoiled. A lot of brats out there.
It's my generation and younger.
Yeah. Well,
it's the '60s generation and after. It fits all of us, to be honest.
Just go to a restaurant.
The '60s were all this. The boomers were the ones that started all this bullshit.
Yeah,
and they're the ones that brought it to the mainstream.
It's the very few baby boomers who did this shit. Because my father's a baby boomer, and I was the words I feared was go find a switch. I fucking fear that word.
I mean, technically, I I was on the cusp of the baby boomers, but the thing was, I was brought up, you know, to believe in some kind of work ethic. You know, I mean, you had to do your chores, you had to earn your pocket money.
I was born
it wasn't
poor,
pocket
so
money; it was
I had to earn
earnings.
shit.
Yeah,
well, no, but Cabbage, the counterculture wasn't really what it was in America, right? And,
no, true, yes, very true.
And Moondog, to go with what you were kind of saying, yeah, because there was a rift in society at that time. You know, there was a lot of conservative people. There was a lot, you know, like, hell, Hillary Clinton fucking ran with Nixon, right? Or not ran with him, but worked for his campaign. She was a Nixon girl or some shit. I mean, so there really was still conservatism then. And in the 70s
That was
when
back
the
then when
Libertarian Party
conservatives had a
actually started.
brain.
What was that, Moondog?
That's when conservatives had a brain back then. Now they're just mindless zombies who just go wherever their feelings go on.
Well, the people who are leading the conservatives, meaning the politicians that are quote unquote the supposed to be the conservatives, they aren't conservative. Okay, and that's a large part of the problem, and the reason for that has to do with, there's several reasons for it, but the biggest reason is because they're so enamored with their own power that they fear the press. All right, they let they let the press control them. They let the press determine the narrative, and then whatever that narrative is, they respond to it. They react to it. All right, and the press in this country has only recently broken out of the shackles where it was one group of people were basically describing the narrative and everybody fell in line. The internet did break that, but you're going through the throes of it now. And what are you seeing now? Is you're seeing very heavy demarcation lines. You see polarization taking place. And
we're seeing a bunch of fucking pussies who go on to their feelings. That's what we're seeing today.
But you're seeing the polarization. That's the result of the fact that now there isn't a single narrative anymore. All right, and they can't control the narrative. That's why you're seeing polarization. All right, and it's getting worse because the people who are driving the polarization, which is the left, they don't even recognize it. They because they don't recognize the damage that they've done. You listen to them talk by themselves. You listen to liberals talk to themselves, right? And they don't even recognize how out of touch they really are with what's going on. They think it's one thing, and it's something entirely different.
Yeah, but that's because, you know, everyone now has their echo chambers. I mean, you know, their media echo chambers. Well, everyone has very selective and pre-selected material presented to them.
It is to an extent, but the worst part is that they don't want to think. You can present this. You can present these other facts to them.
They think using your brain is overrated.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, these kids are so used to getting affirmation. No,
cuddling,
now, I don't mind.
I mean,
yeah, they want to be coddled and they want to be agreed with, right? You know, mommy and daddy's just going to go along.
Mommy and daddy's going to give.
I mean, like, you know, I mean,
that's what this really is.
MC, you know, like, if we're in a discussion and we can be heated, and then you make a good point, then I'll recognize a good point. These are the kind of people who could never do that because they have to be right.
Yeah.
It's almost like some weird obligation that you have to concede everything to them.
Well, the expectation...
They can never develop. That's why they're never going to be adults.
The expectation that you're going to be right, I mean, is that you're always right is ridiculous. Now, I realize that people are, you know, gotten to a large extent into this, you know, smarmy little world of I'm always right and la 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 if you tell me I'm wrong, right? But I've never understood that. I personally have never understood that.
Almost
because
like my
nobody's
fiance.
Right every single time.
It's her way of the highway.
You know, I mean, but how many times have you been thought you were right about something, but you found out that you were wrong? It happens.
Well,
all
like
the
I said,
oh, it does happen all the time when we do research.
Yeah. Well, like I said, MC, I mean, you pointed things out, and it's like, yeah, okay, I'll exceed that point. You know, I mean, you have to. I mean, if you're given a good argument and it's well presented, and there's that citations included,
right.
Then you know what I mean. Then what else are you going to do apart from look like an absolute arse if you don't recognize the correction?
This expectation of always being right, I've never understood why get yourself wrapped around the axle when you're wrong, because you're going to be wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I don't like being wrong, all right, but I don't have an expectation of perfection either. I don't know where that ever came from.
No. Well, but that's because, you know, your parents taught you, you know, that there is right and there is wrong. And these kids have always been taught that, you know, anything you do is going to be right. Oh, you're perfect. You're a, you know, perfect little snowflake. You know, you're individual. And any opinion you have is just as valid as anybody else's opinion, right? If it makes you feel good, because your feels matter more than facts.
Well, I think
that's how it works.
I think a lot of that is also attributed to the kind of utopian kind of framework that people put themselves in, especially when they're talking about, like, oh, we can feed everyone, we can house everyone, and that's socialism.
Bullshit.
Oh, come on.
If you have more,
you remember,
if you have a shitload of fucking like homeless people in your own damn country, and you're accepting like 100,000 of fucking refugees, where are you gonna fucking put them? Oh, automatically have fucking houses for those 100,000 refugees. You ain't doing jack shit about the fucking homeless people in your damn country. That automatically tells you the fucking agenda of your damn fucking government.
Well, if you come with the attitude you can feed all the people, the question comes about into, okay, why can't they feed themselves? The question starts to go, when are you going to act like an adult? Do you expect to be a child for your entire freaking adult life? Because at some point in time, someone's got to grow the food. Someone's got to carry the food. Someone's got to thresh the wheat. Are you saying that we can feed everybody? Yeah. Well, then why aren't you feeding them? The next time I hear somebody say that, I'm going to...
Yeah, where I'm from, if you see a lot of farmers, they're fucking old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally,
they
grow hay and they sell it to the farmers who have horses and cattle. They grow all that shit. They're all of them, literally, 99.9% of them are fucking old.
Mm-hmm.
Only one person that's at the property I've been on, he was really young. That's when I used to cut trees I was cutting trees from under panel lines, so I can see all the property, who owns the property. Majority of them were fucking old. Just like a handful of them were, not less than a handful, were young, who grew wheat and cattle.
Well, there's a world of
absolutely. No, but unfortunately.
Well, this is why they're automating everything. That's why they go for the automation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I gotta wrap up. So, any last words you guys want to give? And mine will be free Tommy Robinson. This shit is fucking ridiculous. And UK, get your heads on straight, guys. You gotta figure it out.
California needs to.
Couldn't agree more. Hashtag free Tommy.
Hashtag hell Satan.
Anything else? 40 MC.
No, I'm good.
You know what? You don't want to free Tommy? You little shit.
Free Tommy. Free Tommy. No, I agree with that. Free Tommy.
Free Tommy in the name of Satan.
Don't, in the name of Satan, don't punch dogs on airplanes. Another one. So be
don't cause the dog to yelp. No yelping dogs.
Yeah, if I can, I'll be starting this stream here in a couple minutes. So leave him, join me. I'll be. If I figure shit out, because I'm fucking drinking right now.
All right, awesome. Yeah, guys, we'll be back on air Monday, I think. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Monday for sure. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Good night. And,
it's Memorial Day.
Good luck.
Memorial weekend, okay?
Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bank holiday over here.
Don't think fucking veterans. It's Memorial Day. It's for the people who died for your damn freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Not for fucking veterans or people who are serving.
Yeah,
it's for the dead.
Anyway, good night and good luck.